I'm John Bowden. We've all heard the stories about bands being screwed, and we'll show you in just a second. We'll explain it. Grand Funk, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Badfinger, and our special guest, Peter Lewis, and his band, Moby Grape, which were quite big for a while in the 60s. Anyone, unless you're living under a rock, would have heard the song 805. It's a Beautiful Day Today, Omaha, or Mr. Blues. Peter Lewis will tell us how his group was screwed, and we'll have a little vignette where you'll hear about other bands that went through the same thing on Rock History Music. We've all heard the stories throughout history. Big setbacks for major bands, which always hindered potential financial stability. Creedence Clearwater Revival, led by John Fogerty, faced internal strife and financial woes due to poor management of Saul Zaentz, who gave them very unfavorable contracts. Grand Funk Railroad, despite huge success, struggled under the manipulation and control of Terry Knight, who siphoned profits and created discord within the band. Moby Grape was a promising act in the late 60s, suffering a series of missteps by their management, specifically Matthew Katz. One of the most tragic stories, of course, Badfinger. It's the quintessential example of managerial exploitation. Under the management of Sam Pauley, the band was subjected to financial fraud, which led to the suicide of members Pete Ham and Tom Evans. These are the bands that had immense talent and faced significant struggles due to terrible management. Be careful who you trust.
You check in through the years. So you see, to me, not knowing you, I'm going, this guy checked in through the years. Something would happen. If something would overly happy, great, or not happy, you would check in. But did you check in, or was it unconscious for you to keep yourself being who you wanted to be? Or how did you navigate?
No, I went through. I went through like where I didn't know what the hell was happening. I mean, it just completely. It did the same thing to every guy in that band. I mean, we were supposed to be the Beatles, the American Beatles. And then, one thing happened, and there were all sorts of extenuating circumstances for what happened. And when I hear Ben Fanctori say, well, we all thought these guys were going to be stars, I know I was one of them, but I mean, he didn't want to have to get into why that didn't happen, but there's a reason for it, and if I'm going to spend my whole life looking for that reason, I'm wasting my time. I don't think that matters, and it didn't matter then.
When did you get to a point where you said, that's something that happened, but that's not my story, and I'm not a victim here, let's just move on? At what point?
I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Really?
Oh no.
But I've heard you in an interview saying you don't want that. You don't want.
I don't want it to. No, but I'm still struggling.
Okay.
I mean, if I start looking for a cause and event cycle, I'll never stop. I say, so the best thing to do is to forgive, and so you look for, if I'm looking for a reason to hate him, I can find it, but I'm looking for a reason to forgive him, I can probably find that too. It depends what you're looking for. I think you usually find what you're looking for in these cases. When you're looking back at your life, I think that's what you have is like a choice to make, I mean, but it's not always easy. It depends on, things can create an environment where I just look at the bad side of things. I mean, that's possible. If I get reminded of this or something happens in my life and I think about, how'd I get to this point? And I think about him, or her, right?
When did you know with him that there was something untoward going on? When did you first know?
Oh, yeah. Well, when we asked, he wanted to have us sign the rights away to our name,
Which you got back?
Well, we were stupid. And Neil Young was sitting in the room when it happened. That's why I was thinking, and he was just shaking his head, man, and just playing this orange Gretsch he had at the time, remember? And, but Skip, was he thought of Matthew as a father figure, and Matthew had sort of taken Skip on after the airplane fired him. And in the end, then they fired Cates. I think they felt like they both had something to prove, but Skip really believed he could trust Matthew, you know, and we did too. And we signed the paper, and then all of a sudden he wasn't around anymore. And when the record company started to come around, you know, he would show up and start yelling and screaming about he owning the name, and you saw that you made a mistake, and it was you know, so it took 40 years to get rid of that and then get our name back, you know.
And did he really ask for $1 million for Moby Grape to be filmed at the Monterey Pop Festival?
He did. Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, he's nuts. What I would say about Matthew is that it's like somebody that helps somebody get somewhere, and then that person just wants to be free now, you know, doesn't want to have to remember how he got where he got, you know, whatever, that somebody might have helped him get there. This is human nature, you know, it's somehow. But the person that, like Saul Zaentz or whoever helped Creedence Clearwater, would always say, well, I was using them as an example, you know, because I think, you know, that's more apropos, where this guy really got somewhere, you know. And then Saul Zaentz said, well, he's not acknowledging me, whether it's because Saul Zaentz has an ego trip happening, or just wants to be acknowledged, or just wants money. I think it's confusing, you know. It's like a lot of that. Does Saul Zaentz really need all of that? Because he's got money anyway, you know. I mean, but somehow he made Creedence Clearwater famous. He wasn't being given enough credit for, and that's the only thing I can say about Saul Zaentz. He might have been a guy that wanted to say, hey, man, and sends a lawyer with a subpoena to get some attention. You know,
you're still here. That's the thing. You're still here. You're still doing music, which really inspired me, by the way. When Matthew died, what feeling did you have? He lived a long life.
I was waiting for him to die. When he died, I felt bad. I was waiting. I can't wait. You go on the internet and see is that guy dead yet? And I'd say, no, he's not. God, when is he going to die? You know, maybe things will get better, you know? And then all of a sudden I heard he died, and it didn't mean anything. Didn't matter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm better off than I thought with him. But I tried to help him. I did. I mean, I tried to talk to Matthew. I mean, at one point, and you know, he just had this thing like Saul Zaentz had. When the airplane fired him, for whatever reason, and I don't know what it was, but it was like one of those things where you don't need him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But he helped you get there. And Matthew felt like a spurned lover, you know? And you don't want to get a guy like Matthew to feel like that, because they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to make you, going to get your attention, so that, and make you know how that feels to be a spurned lover, you know? You know what I mean?
Well said.
And that's Matthew's trip.
Remember, comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. Like our videos as well, because it makes a huge difference in the algorithm. If you want to make a PayPal donation, there's a link at the very top if you want to help out the channel. And you can join our Patreon, get early access to all our videos. We have a swag store that's quite popular. You can buy a t-shirt, a coat, a cap, a T-top, and a lot more with either Rock History Music on it, Rock History Book, or if you're Canadian, Rock History Canada. All the links are in the description. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.